We will not allow coup after coup. West Africa separation.
So there is a news now that Bola Ahmed Tinubu has hired a 5 team of lawyers to prevent his academic record from being released to Atiku team. They are Charles Carmichael, Victor P. Henderson, Oluwole Afolabi, and 2 others. I give credit to Pels. She's the detective journalist that decided to bring this to us. Miss Pels. Okay. Now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing everything possible. Some of you don't know why Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing everything possible so that this his Chicago certificate will not be released. Remember that Atiku is doing everything possible to drag out that certificate, and once it's out, that is another format that Tinubu will be disqualified. He knows why he wants to be in that power. This man is not doing well. He's old, but he still wants to fight for that seat. He doesn't want to be disgraced out. He doesn't want to retire. He doesn't want to resign. He just wants to, the kingmaker wants to do everything possible to be there. But follow me, because I'm going to be revealing to you a lot of things. Oluwole Afolabi was brought in by a motion to appear pro hac vice, which under US law allows a lawyer not practicing in a jurisdiction to appear before a particular court in that jurisdiction to become his lead lawyer. You can just tell that BAT definitely needs Nigerian lawyers in court to lie unshamedly and breathe down the neck of their white colleagues to ensure anything and everything is done to block the release of those academic records that can unmask Bola Ahmed Tinubu man's true identity and bring his house of cards crashing down. You can imagine sending an Oluwole to protect an Oluwole alumni. Well played, the jokes write themselves. The question that should be on the lips of every Nigerian is, what secret is Bola Ahmed Tinubu hiding in his academic records? That is one question everybody needs to answer. Why is Bola Ahmed Tinubu hiding his academic records? What is his reason? Why fight so hard against its release? The minimum WAEC qualification or its equivalent Abi no get, that is just what we need. Do you have it? Because what is required for you to be a president is the minimum WAEC qualification. Do you have it or not? Thankfully, the United States has a working system where the judiciary is perfectly insulated from any external or political interference. So they can't compromise. Because you are a drug lord and you become a president does not make they will compromise. This is the hardest case of it. Like you see, P2B being in court is the hardest part of it. They are so scared of this man. This man is following them tooth to nail. And Atiku, because of P2B's in court, he's doing everything possible to make sure that he's strongly awake. A district court for the Northern District Illinois has given a deadline of August 23 for him to file his argument on why his record shouldn't be released, and Atiku has been given up to September 9 to respond. They will grant judgment before September 21. So even if Joe Biden marries Bola Ahmed Tinubu before then, justice will be done. Let the countdown begin. Now, that's not all. We should understand that this man or this man will do everything possible, to make sure that he defend himself. That's Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But what will be will be. Now, something very interesting is happening with the Atiku Bola Ahmed Tinubu's case in the USA. A lot of people don't really know the details, but Miss Pels took time, went through court document, did some more researches and brought a summary. So Atiku's case in the USA is perhaps the most important part of the electoral jigsaw puzzle on qualification of BAT for the following reasons. One of the constitutional requirements to qualify for election as president in Nigeria is to be educated up to at least the school certificate level or its equivalent. Bola Ahmed Tinubu listed and submitted Chicago State University (CSU) as the only school he attended on his INEC form EC9. This certifies or is equivalent to the requirement of the Constitution. Article US case aims to lift the veil on the foundational document Bola Ahmed Tinubu used to qualify for and gained that admission. Yes, you guessed right. Documents like transcripts, biodata, WAEC result, testimonial from previous school, etc. In summary, all such documents that laid the foundation upon which Bola Ahmed Tinubu subsequent qualification were built, if they exist, are covered by that subpoena article is in court for. If it is confirmed that Bola Ahmed Tinubu's foundational educational document belonged to someone else, a female, and that he appropriated someone else's identity to gain admission into CSU, it will mean that all subsequent qualification built on it will collapse like a pack of cards due to identity theft and fraud. See? So this is pure fact. I told you from my other news that the person that is answering Tinubu in Chicago University is a female. That is the first exposition. Now he's fighting hard so that this document will not be released. But we are here to find out. Now the CSU will have no choice than to withdraw any certificate awarded to that identity if they are properly petitioned. It will definitely become an international scandal. Imagine the headlines: Nigerian narcotic bagman, president also guilty of identity theft. On the home front, with the international collapse of the CSU certificate and exposure of fraudulent foundational documents, it will fall short of that sacred constitutional requirement of being educated up to school certificate level or its equivalent, as there will be no evidence to prove otherwise. He go explain tire. He's going to explain tire. Now the court won't need to ask any questions. From what he filled in his form EC9, he already submitted that he had no other qualification if CSU certificate, that is Chicago School University, fails, then he is automatically deemed as not qualified in the eyes of the law. But before I continue, will they follow the law? That's my question. Because a lot of constitutional laws, or the laws, have been twisted to balance this Tinubu to become the president of Nigeria. My question is, will they follow it? An international scandal of such dimensions would force the Supreme Court hand. If it becomes a notorious international fact that Bola Ahmed Tinubu does not have a WAEC school SAT result or its equivalent, they will have no choice but to apply the constitution in its strict sense to disqualify him. This is why Tinubu is fighting so hard through his lawyers to prevent his record from being released to the Atiku team. He does not want the Nigerian people or the world to know that he does not have the minimum WAEC qualification or its equivalent, and that the document he's been parading belong to someone else. You know, one thing that Tinubu is fighting now is shame and disgrace. He's actually fighting not to be humiliated, not to be disgraced. He has already threatened with chaos and a war if ever he's being removed. Yes, because he knows that he will be removed. So he's afraid of going back and being disrespected by his young boys, because Jagaban has finally fallen. Yes. He wants to see, one thing with Atiku is that he knows the adversary is taking. He wants to help Nigerians solve a transgender mystery. He will do this by dragging a bat from the darkness of Nigerian murky politics to the light of international embarrassment. We're all watching. So, for those of you asking if the judgment can be tendered in the Supreme Court, if there's a new fact that is very notorious that can lead to justice in a case or shed more light in a case, it can be brought to the attention of the court. So it need not to be tendered. We have come a very long way to, give up on the history that has to do with all these things. But one thing is very important, that Tinubu will keep fighting, because he knows that whatever be the case, he's coming out. Thanks for supporting the Future News. Peace.